my name is Lauren.
And I'm Erica.
And we're here today with Scholars Hope Foundation. Picture a kid from Huntington Beach. What do you see? How much money does their family make? What's their parents' educational background? And where are they headed off to school next year?
Chances are you didn't imagine Ivan. Ivan is in 9th grade. He's a typical teenage boy dealing with all of the typical pressures that 9th graders face. But what he also has to deal with is going home to a neighborhood with 2 rival gangs, which, as you can imagine, bring their own measure of violence and fear into his daily life. But what he also has to deal with is the pressures of joining those gangs, and in addition, dealing and the temptation of engaging in the negative behaviors that many of those close to him are engaging in. But Ivan is not the only one. In this picture, you'll see a lot of our happy faces of our great students. They live in a neighborhood called Oakview in Huntington Beach. Now, they come from an average family household size of 5, with their families making approximately $24,000 a year. Household size of 5, $24,000 a year. Not to mention, our parents reported having 62% of our parents reported having less than a high school education. These are all factors that impact college access. So, at Scholars Hope, we work with students from 5th through 12th grade, and we deliver a formal curriculum after the school day. The 2 main areas we deal with are academic support and social-emotional guidance. But what exactly does that mean? Well, let's liken what we do to the workforce. We work with the hard skills and the soft skills. Those hard skills are the English, math, and science concepts that are going to help kids be better students. But what we also help students with are those soft skills, things like work ethic, conflict management, stress management, that are going to help them be better people, better workers, and better collaborators. And we do this because we feel that underserved students can be just as competitive in today's global workforce. And we also believe that meaningful relationships between trusting adults and youth during their formative years can change the trajectory of a life.
So Scholars Hope currently sends 100% of their students off to college, but the success rate comes at a cost. So they were looking for a sustainable revenue stream to support their program. Now our team noticed a number of underutilized resources during the summer, including full-time access to a classroom, a year-long teaching staff, and a strong social-emotional curriculum. That is why we have designed the Summer Coding Academy, a series of week-long camps that teach middle school students basic coding skills through the creative lens of gaming. We aim to capitalize on students' recreational interest in gaming to teach them the basic skills that go behind their creation. Furthermore, at the end of our 5-day-long camp, students will be able to code a basic computer game.
Now, we know coding is a bit of a buzzword right now, but it's really interesting to note that programming jobs are growing at 50% faster than the entire job market overall. So if we really, truly want to give kids a competitive edge, we can't ignore this statistic. So we, based on research done by our team, we found that 75% of middle schoolers would like to learn to code or have some minimal experience in coding. But what do their parents want? Well, 9 out of 10 parents want their kids to learn to code. But here's the problem. Only a quarter of the schools in the US currently offer coding. So we're answering the call of our consumer by offering a affordable 30-hour curriculum, week-long coding camp for the affordable price point of $400 a week. And because we are serious about our mission, all current middle school students in the Scholars Hope Foundation program will be invited to attend on a scholarship.
So to take a look at our market, there's about 10,000 middle schoolers in Huntington Beach, and our survey shows that 75% of them are interested in coding. So from these 8,000 potential customers, we aim to conservatively reach only 1% of our target market in our launch year of 2020, filling 150 seats over the course of 6 weeks. But why choose our Summer Coding Academy over the many other offerings in Huntington Beach during the summer? We have a number of key competitive advantages, with the first one being geographic. Currently in the 5-mile radius of Huntington Beach, there are no coding camps. In Irvine, there are a couple, but Southern California traffic makes this quite a commute. So we plan to be the first and only coding camp in Huntington Beach. Furthermore, 72% of surveyed parents said they're looking for summer activities for their students that are both fun and educational, in part to combat the phenomena dubbed summer melt, which is the idea that students who are intellectually stimulated during the summer are more likely to end up going to college.
Now, as an organization, we're prepared to deliver meaningful curriculum on just a few of the topics listed here. The first one being balance, how to balance an online and offline life, which is something I think everyone could use help with. In addition, confronting failures, in other words, failing forward, making a mistake, learning from it, and then being better because of it, as well as that vital skill of collaboration. We also are fortunate enough to have a good relationship, a very strong relationship with the owner of a premier gaming venue in Huntington Beach, Ultimate Media Ventures. Now, through this relationship, we'll be able to take our students to the venue on a culminating field trip so they can learn more about the career options in coding and gaming.
So to take a peek at our financials, in our first summer of 2020, we'll be filling 150 seats, bringing in $35,000 in income. And by 2022, we will have doubled the number of students at our camp and nearly tripled the amount that we are bringing in $93,000. But where is this money that we're earning going? Well, all of our funds will be going right back to Scholars Hope to allow more students to attend Scholars Hope after school. In our first year, 15 more students, just like Ivan, will have access to Scholars Hope. And by 2022, an additional 35 students in the Oakview community can attend Scholars Hope. That means by over the course of 3 years, 75 more students, just like Ivan, will be going to Scholars Hope after school, accessing higher education, and having the opportunity to pull themselves and their families out of poverty.
Now, Scholars Hope is in year 5 of a quasi-experimental longitudinal study with Claremont Graduate University, which we will plan to engage as we continue through the venture of our coding camp to measure the success of that. But we have found time and time again that our results show that deep relationships are at the core of our success, which is why we have decided to invest in highly qualified staff, in particular our programming staff, of master's level teachers and counselors who are passionate about student success.
Now, to take a look at our timeline, this summer we'll be conducting a 3-day beta test with our current students to receive feedback on what methods of teaching coding students are more receptive to. Over the course of the year, we'll be initiating recruitment of a coding instructor and marketing to local schools. And by the summer of 2022, we will launch the Coding Academy, planning to expand beyond Huntington Beach in the coming years. That is why we come to you today requesting $26,000 in a loan to be repaid over 3 years to cover our costs for the first year, including technology, instruction, marketing, and the materials we need to run this camp.
Now, circling back to Ivan, he is using our program as his own personal support system, which is how he's been able to combat those pressures we mentioned earlier. And if I know Ivan, I can tell you that he values his family and himself. So he is not only surviving his circumstance, but he's thriving in it.
So we invite you to be our champion today and join Scholars Hope Foundation as we continue to inspire and guide our youth towards higher education and successful in the workforce.